Hi guys, my name is Louise and I'm a life coach and a heavy vehicle and plant mechanic trainer and assessor. And today I'm going to be talking about PMDD, or my journey through my menstrual cycle. So I am born female identifying, and I do understand and recognise that some people who don't identify as women also get their periods. So I know through this video I'll probably be referring to women, but I really mean everyone who gets a period. I'm also wearing I've got the balls t-shirt because, I thought it was appropriate. So let's get started. So I started getting my period when I was 11 years old. It actually come the day after my 11th birthday. Woo! Awesome present. And I never tracked it really or anything, just used a pad, and my symptoms were mainly like dead legs and tiredness kind of thing. And then as I got on, so when I was 11, I was in year 6, so I started getting my period when I was in primary school. Primary schools don't really have any bins or anything for periods, like period products, which I think they should have, but it's a whole nother thing. So then went into high school with my period already, had those few issues where, you're sitting funny during class and then it comes through on your dress and you tie your t-shirt around your waist. And then I think I started getting a bit more moody around then, when I found like the irritability side of things come as a symptom. And then I started in my trade when I was 15. So I went out on the tools. I was working full time as a mechanic. And I was really determined to not let my body get in the way. So in my mind, I had to work at that same point, and any changes, mood changes, I needed to suppress. Any energy changes, I needed to suppress. Which I did. I just pretended it wasn't happening and just kept going. But later on, so probably in my 3rd year, I think I started to get a bit more moody, kind of thing, and a bit more touchy. My 3rd year, 4th year actually. 4th year, I think, was the first time I ever cried in the workshop. So I think when I was 4th year, so I would have been 18 turning 19, moodiness started to come up a bit more, and tiredness and fatigue started to come up a bit more. So instead of I was doing heaps of overtime before then, not like heaps, like a half decent amount. I usually do 2 hours a day and work Saturday. I really started cutting back on that just because I was getting tired. But I wasn't putting it down to my period or anything. I was starting to I thought I had depression and anxiety, but I would be fine, and then I wouldn't be fine, and I would be fine, and everyone was like, "You're fine," and I'm like, "I don't feel fine." Then going on from there, so I ended up leaving that workplace, and then at my next workplace, it was like a fresh start. So I was like, cool, clean slate, let's keep going. And then I really because I was working on my own a lot more in my 2nd mechanical workplace, I started to notice my body a lot more. And just like little things, like, I noticed I was more tired and grumpy and stuff. And I was like, yeah, cool. Pretend it doesn't happen and keep moving forward. And then I was in a relationship. I was with him for 2 years. And that's when I really started noticing my mood changes, because he cared about me, I cared about him, we spent a lot of time together. And sometimes I would just be angry and irritable, and I didn't know why. And he would always ask, why are you angry? And even like my parents as well, like if I was angry or irritable, they'd be like, why are you angry? And I was like, I just make something up. I just pull something out of the air, like, oh, so-and-so said this and so-and-so said that, and like, that's why I'm angry, or you did this. But really, like, none of the things that I was like blaming it on was a big deal. So unfortunately that relationship ended. And I do think, looking back on it now, it does have a big part to play, like, in having PMDD and not realizing it. Because my mood swings were out of control, and then I was like, he was like, why are you angry? And I was like, and then I just make something up or pick something out of the air. So that wasn't great. And then, stepped into another workplace, or I took some time off work because I was burnt out. And then I really started kind of tracking my symptoms after that and picking up, little bits and pieces. And it was probably, I was like being aware, like I don't think I was properly tracking my symptoms I was probably like on and off tracking my symptoms for about 3 years. And then I ended up kind of working out, like, I'm like, yeah, it really does happen. And just a trigger warning kind of thing, my symptoms slowly, gradually got worse, but they're mood swings, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, extreme tiredness, food cravings, they're my main ones. And then you get, like, I can't control my body temperature and shit sometimes, which is annoying. But anyway, so those symptoms were getting worse and worse, and I was starting to put it to my cycle. I ended up going to a doctor and being like, I pretty much said, like, I was kind of like, okay, nothing's going to stop me from saying this, and I'm worked up. And then I went to the doctor, and I was like, it was a new doctor that I hadn't seen before, and I was like, I get suicidal before my period. Like, can you help me? And I had been seeing a counsellor for 4 or 5 years before that as well, on and off. So I went in and I was like, this is happening. And she handed me a pamphlet. And I was like, I don't think you understand. Like, I get suicidal before my period. Like, I need help. I need something. And she's like, oh, no, this is normal. I'm like, this is not normal. So then it took me like another year to then go back to my normal GP. And I was like, okay, like, I need a referral to get to see a counsellor again. And she's like, haven't you been seeing a counsellor for like 6 years now? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, hasn't, like, what's been going on? And I'm like, well, I've been putting myself under a lot of stress. So also at the time when my mood swings and stuff were changing, I was going through world skills. I was working with my partner for his dad, who was going through cancer. So that was an emotional situation. And I had all these other things to, like, blame my mood swings on as well. As well as tracking it. It was kind of like a bit of a being aware, but then in denial kind of thing. And then I went to my GP, and she was like, oh, this and that. And I said to her, I noticed it happens more before my period. Like this, yeah. And then I ended up starting medication last April for it. And slowly up the doses. I still have bad days, and I can still feel it coming on. Yeah. So that is a bit of my journey. So where I'm at now is I still get the symptoms and stuff, not as bad, not as severe. And I now have the language to say, I am angry and I don't know why. I am sad and I don't know why. And having that language in my vocabulary has been so important with the mood swings and everything. So pretty much so I looked up some information so I can give you guys some facts as well. So that was my journey through it, and the symptoms were slowly getting worse. And the main symptom, which was the reason why I thought I had depression, is because I was suicidal. I would be able to kind of put on a face. I was in a lot of public places and stuff because I was going through world skills. I was able to put on a face, make it through that, and then be exhausted afterwards. So some facts. PMDD, so 1 in 20 women have PMDD, and most of the time everyone just kind of puts it off as PMS because in a lot of social situations your period is blamed for a lot of conflicts or mood swings, which happens, but it shouldn't be the cause because usually there's a trigger, especially when you have PMS. So I've got some information here, and I'll put the link to the website that I'm reading this off in the bio in case you wanted to have a look. So the difference between PMS and PMD is the severity, frequency, and the duration. So PMS, which is premenstrual tension syndrome. So PMS is diagnosed when a woman or person who gets period has 1 to 4 symptoms that are a combination of physical, behavioural, or psychological changes, or as 5 or more behavioural or physical symptoms that start 5 to 7 days before menses. So PMS symptoms: headache, bloating, cramping, insomnia, acne, breast tenderness, sugar cravings, irritability, mood swings, anxiety, depression, and sleep disturbance. So they can all be pretty shit, but if they are so shit that they impact your work and your life and your relationships, you should look into it. I definitely don't recommend writing it off as PMS. So premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So how is it diagnosed? PMDD is diagnosed when a woman has 5 or more symptoms present the week before her period during the lateral phase. So for me, the week before a period. So in other research, and for me in my body, it's 2 weeks before. So after ovulation is when I start getting my symptoms. And resolve once her period starts. Symptoms are occasionally bothersome. In PMDD, they can actually interfere with school, work, and relationships for most of their cycles. So this is where it really started to get extreme for me, when it was interfering with that particular relationship that I mentioned, and then it was interfering with my work, and continued interfering with my relationships. So PMDD symptoms: headaches, bloating, cramping, insomnia, acne, breast tenderness, sugar cravings, irritability, mood swing, anxiety, depression, sleep disturbance, bouts of rage, joint pain, muscle pain, hot flashes, extreme fatigue, appetite changes, difficulty concentrating, feelings of hopelessness, suicidal thoughts, bouts of extreme sadness, decreased interest in unusual activities. So before I mentioned my main symptoms: anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, mood changes, tiredness. I crave carbs for some reason. Like yesterday I had a snack pack because that's what I needed. But for me personally, headaches have never been an issue. Insomnia, breast tenderness, irritability, mood swings, anxiety, depression, sleep disturbance, bouts of rage, hot flashes, extreme fatigue, appetite changes, difficulty concentrating, feeling of hopelessness, suicidal thoughts, bouts of extreme sadness, and decreased interest in unusual activities is what I get, which is super fun. So pretty much I just wanted to tell you guys, like, I know sometimes as women in male-dominated spaces, we pretend that our body doesn't change and doesn't affect our work. But compressing that can sometimes make it worse, which I think might have been the case with me, which why it might have seemed so sudden to people around me, because I was able to hide my symptoms and everything really well to the outside world until it just become too much. I really wanted to share this because it's not something that's really talked about, and a lot of periods have been taboo for some reason. It's like, shh, don't mention that you have your period. Here's a tampon. Dude, they happen to half the population. They're a big part of our lives and how we do things. And pretending they don't happen is shit, but we can still do the work. I have still been able to get my trade. Like, I run my own business now, and I have put steps in place that have really helped me because I've recognized this, and I have now got the language to communicate that I'm angry and I don't know why. And I am learning to listen to my body more, and I'm able to ask for help. This video has gone longer than I thought it would have, but I really wanted to share my journey and how I got to this space. PMDD is not the only menstrual thing out there. I just wanted to share PMDD because it's what I got and what my journey is. But I didn't know PMDD existed until I was diagnosed with it. And I was looking up symptoms for bipolar and personality disorder because the changes were so sudden. And those things I had heard of before. So if something is happening to you that is painful, is affecting your work, your relationships, get it checked out. Go get it checked out, guys. It's not worth the struggle, and there are so many things out there that we don't know about, like that we don't know about because we're not in the medical community. But yeah, please guys, really look after yourselves, and if you want to have a chat, please reach out. I've got a link in my bio to book a introductory call with me, which is a no strings attached chat. And you know, even if you're not looking at getting coaching, I would love to meet my audience and to really get to know you guys. Please reach out, don't be strangers, and look after yourselves, listen to your body, and stay safe. Thanks guys, keep on smashing it.